The mystery at Sanctuary Station Omega had the galaxy's best xenobiologists stumped. 48 predator cubs rescued from a smuggling ring cowered in absolute terror whenever anyone approached their enclosure. Zephyrians, Altarians, even the famously calming harmonics, all triggered the same response: pure, primal fear. The cubs would press themselves into corners, some phasing partially out of reality, others creating defensive gravity wells, all of them keening in frequencies that translated to universal distress. These weren't ordinary fear responses. These were cubs expecting death. "It's been 3 weeks," Director Vess reported to the Galactic Council. "They won't eat if anyone's watching. They won't sleep unless the lights are completely off. Whatever those smugglers did to them." "May I?" Everyone turned to see Robert Nash, the station's human janitor, standing at the entrance with his mop bucket. "This is a restricted area," Security Chief Krex growled. "These cubs are dangerous and traumatized. They could." Robert was already walking toward the enclosure. Every scientist, security officer, and medic held their breath, expecting the cubs to explode in panic. Instead, something impossible happened. The cubs rushed toward him, not in attack, but in desperate relief. A void stalker pup materialized fully and pressed against his legs. Shadow maw cubs with tears in all 6 eyes reached up their paws. The plasma drake hatchlings dimmed their internal fires to avoid burning him as they gathered close. Robert knelt down, and they swarmed him, not with aggression, but with the desperate affection of children who'd found safety. He didn't speak, just sat there, letting them climb on him, press against him, assure themselves he was real. "Ow!" Director Vess's voice was barely a whisper. "We've tried everything. Pheromone matching, universal comm signals, even telepathic soothing. Why do they trust you?" Robert looked up, his eyes sad. "I don't think it's about trust. I think it's about what I'm not." "Explain," Chief Krex demanded, though his voice had lost its edge watching a graviton bear cub fall asleep in Robert's lap. "Every species here is a predator, right?" Robert asked, gently stroking a crystal raptor's head. "Top of their food chains. Apex hunters. Everyone who's tried to help them. Zephyrians, Altarians, all of you. You're also predators. Maybe different kinds, but still predators." "So," Dr. Thekval interjected, "humans are predators too. Your evolution, your forward-facing eyes, your history." "We're not, though," Robert interrupted. "Not really. We're something weirder. We're prey that figure out how to win. These cubs, whatever happened to them, I think they were taught to fear strength, to expect violence from anything powerful." He gestured to himself. Average height, no claws, no armor, unremarkable in every way. But humans? We're soft, weak. Our babies are helpless for years. We survive by being clever and kind, not strong. Maybe they see that. You're suggesting they trust you because you're weak? Director Vess sounded incredulous. A void stalker pup chose that moment to bring Robert a piece of its food, a gesture of feeding the weak that its species only showed to injured pack members. "Not weak," Robert corrected. "Safe. We're the only predator species that spent most of our evolution being hunted. We know what it's like to be afraid. Maybe they can sense that. Maybe they know I understand." The scientists ran every test imaginable. They found nothing special about Robert's pheromones. No unique energy signature, no psychic ability. He was aggressively ordinary. But the cubs knew something the scanners couldn't detect. They knew the difference between something that had never been afraid and something that had been afraid but survived anyway. They could sense the echo of prey in humanity's bones, the genetic memory of being small and scared and surviving through gentleness when violence wasn't an option. Robert spent his days in the enclosure after that, not as a scientist or trainer, but as something simpler, a fellow survivor who understood that sometimes the scariest thing in the universe isn't the predator. It's becoming one when you remember being prey. The cubs weren't terrified of everyone except the human. They were terrified of everyone who'd never been terrified themselves.